And you guys remember back in long time ago when it was a first for everything. First time record breaking, everything. Solar flares, earthquakes, policies, relationships of nations. From that point, everything went downhill pretty quick. That it did. And ever since then, people have been doing something. Right? Been very careful to make sure that you guys continue your role. Somebody had it right one time, a long time ago. And they proposed that the way things run in the earth, the way things operate, are orchestrated for the most part. I tend to believe that. I do. I'll give you guys an example. Now, I just want you guys to use this as an example. Please don't use this against anybody, okay? Please don't do that. But if you guys went outside, and if all of a sudden you could semi-communicate with bugs, right, and animals, how many of you would go outside and before you cut your grass, go negotiate with the ants to ask their permission to cut your own grass? How many would do that? Would you guys go outside and ask the permission of ants to cut grass? Would you guys do that? It would seem somewhat strange, right? It'd be odd. It'd really be odd. It'd be very odd. Because you're no doubt a superior species. You have dominion over the earth, right? I don't think that anybody would go outside before they walk on their own sidewalk. Ask permission, right? From microbes. Can they negotiate to walk up and down the sidewalk? They never have to, right? Just like you never have to ask a bug's permission. And why is that? Because they have a mechanism to fulfill every loss they would ever have. But in this world we live in, just like you negotiate with ants is unlikely. Well, we have a situation where people honestly believe that something superior to humanity. They believe in something superior to humanity, not necessarily our Father. But, which is strange, right? But they believe this superior species came a long way to ask permission from us backwatered humans, right? To experiment on us or something. I know it's a bit strange, right? When you think of it that way, it kind of ruins something. It's not right somewhere, right? Because that would be like you going out to a bunch of bugs and negotiating with them. See, because if you're superior, you already know about the prey. You're going to know what to do. Why is it that we believe as humans, now not you guys necessarily, but as human beings, why is it that we are thrown off sometimes in the greatest ways? I mean, from a lot of people. Now, I don't think anybody in this day and age made that up. I don't. I think somebody back a long time ago made that up. And they did so because people never really thought of the entire situation. They never really looked at the entirety of the situation. They never did. Yet, you have a lot of people that believe in that. Well, if you guys understand what I'm talking about, and I'll say it again, why would a superior species who is all knowledgeable have to request permission to tamper with us? Something is wrong, isn't it? Something is very wrong. Wouldn't you say? Something is. Why would anybody make up a story like that? Why would anybody? And why would anybody perpetuate anything like that? Why would they do that? I believe, again, a long time ago, some people caught on to what was happening. I believe that. I believe to them it was devastating. I believe that too. And I believe this narrative was accepted by people without them really thinking it through. Right? Because it's fascinating. But, again, that would almost be like the federal government asking your permission to propose anything. They don't do that. See, when anything is superior, right? If anything is actually wise, if anything is smart, if you can navigate the stars, if you can do that, you're not dumb. You've overcome a lot of basics that many cannot see in the first place. You've overcome civilizations, right? If you can do that, you can navigate. And you come all the way to a planet to ask if you can study the gene pool of the local species. Because your race is dying or something like that. That makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. It means, number one, they knew about us before they, left. They're fueling their ships and navigating, traversing distances and places, and they've seen a lot of things. Even Earth scientists understand some principles of animal life on this planet, and human DNA and how they're interchangeable. But those other guys don't know it. Oh, but then they enter into a treaty with human beings. A treaty. A signed treaty. Something is very wrong. Now, I do believe in the biblical narrative. I do. There's only one entity arrogant enough to ever want to have assigned anything. You know who that is. Without disclosing, they have already disclosed exactly what you need to know. There's only one entity arrogant enough to ever make a move to have anything signed between a human being and it for its activities. There's only one entity arrogant enough to do that. This entity loves to gloat. It loves to ascend itself higher than everybody else. It loves the art of debate. It is full of debate. Satan is. Lucifer, Beelzebub, Kisera, that figure. He would do something like that. Why? Because all throughout the Word of God, we should know him as an accuser. God spoke to us concerning him as the accuser, and an accuser always accuses someone of breaking some covenant, faltering in some promise. That's what an accuser is. Satan's a legalist, so of course he would want to document so he could later accuse somebody with something on. Of course he would. He's the only one arrogant enough to do that. The smartest of us would not go in the ocean and ask a goldfish. Suppose they're talking goldfish in the ocean, right? Or somehow we could halfway communicate with goldfish. And goldfish within goldfish was a cure to a disease that human beings had. You think one of us would go down to the goldfish king and negotiate? No. We'd go down there and take as many goldfish as necessary, study the ecosystem, make sure that they're going to be goldfish after that. We would take what we need to do our research on. Period. But we would also make sure that those goldfish never die out. Why? Because they can heal a disease. So we would ensure they never die out. See, when you know what you're doing, you take that route. When you really have a problem, you take that route. But suppose we wanted all the goldfish to self-destruct. Suppose we needed a way in to cause the goldfish because somebody had given the goldfish authority over the oceans. But the goldfish have no idea they have authority over the oceans. Only at that point would any of us human beings ever have to go in to negotiate with a goldfish. Do you guys understand? The goldfish have no idea they have true authority over the oceans, but we do. We understand. So we would make up any story necessary for them to grant us passage within their authority. That really mirrors something concerning human beings and the fallen angels. Yes, I'm sure it does. Don't you find it strange that Satan can't do anything directly to anybody? Don't you find that strange? He can't. Do you find that odd? Even in Revelation, why didn't he himself come forward to subdue the earth? Why is he sneaking around? Why are the fallen who are subservient to him, why are they sneaking around? Why? So when you guys are walking around full of authority and power, here comes another element attempting to do their thing, right? Because according to the Word of God, I believe this narrative, they want access to you. They can't do anything in their form. They need access to you to carry out what they need to carry out. Maybe that's why the other narrative, the undisclosed report, in fact, of the clock in a war. And, this discussion about the others is about to come up. How they have to get humanity ready to fight against invaders. Anybody ever hear that? They're going to get the whole of humanity prepared to fight against invaders. Not from Earth, from space. Does that sound familiar? Sounds like Revelation, doesn't it? When the whole world got together and went against the living God. That's what it sounds like. The final battle. Final battle. People are going to have to believe in something from up there. And they're going to muster together, the whole world is, to fight against it. And that is prophecy. Mankind's concepts are being rearranged. We know that. So I hope you guys see hope you really see, that there is somebody, someone, some group has desperately been trying to sow a fanciful story to cover up the fallen. Desperately. Does it mean that everything is from earth? No, of course not. The fallen angels are not from earth. They're not. They're from out there. They're not from earth. You're in this world, but not of this world. So then your very spirit is not from earth. But your body is of earth. Folks, I'm going to take a break. I'll be back in a few minutes. I wanted you guys to really see this before I go any further in this conversation. I'm trying to provoke your thoughts before we go somewhere, right? Because it will be somewhat interactive. But it's going to become very serious. Very serious. It's going to require some sober thinking to get through. I'll be back in a moment right here, Council of Time.
This has been the Confidential Report. For even more stories like this one, make sure to subscribe to our channel today. And please show your support by clicking the like button on this video. For even more stories and news you deserve to know the truth about, follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Thank you for watching the Confidential Report.